It's not just in Rockhampton that the start of 2011 is one of heartbreak and anxiety. About 21 Queensland towns and cities have been affected by the flooding. 2 entire communities have been evacuated, and the death toll is also rising. A man died this morning when his car was washed off a flooded causeway, bringing to 10 the number of flood-related deaths over the past month. In a moment I'll be joined by the Queensland Premier Anna Bligh, but first this report from John Taylor.
For those witnessing and dealing with Queensland's flooding, it's cruelly awe-inspiring.
In many ways, this is a disaster of biblical proportions. You don't see these type of flooding events occur, and in reality, we all hope that all of us live a long time and don't see this occur again.
This event has affected over 200,000 people of our community.
In Queensland right now, communities have little choice but to rally together to fight off the rising floodwaters. The size and scale of the flooding they're facing is unprecedented. 21 communities and cities around the state are affected. Water is coursing through river catchments with no regard for the people that live amongst them.
Look, on our satellite photos we're seeing ribbons of floodwaters moving right through the major river systems of southern Queensland, through the Condamine-Ballon system, through the Fitzroy River Basin, and its extensive areas of hundreds of kilometres of river in flood.
One of the cruel twists of this flood disaster has been the weather. Many of the people battling floodwaters have been doing so under clear blue skies.
Yeah, it's not raining, but what we had was a very high rainfalls during the week around Christmas time. In some areas up to several hundreds of millimetres falling on every square metre of catchment. These are very large rivers, so if we use the Fitzroy River as an example, 140,000 square kilometres over which most has had very deep rainfall.
More than 3,000 State Emergency Service volunteers have fanned out across the state. But the crisis is so big that the Army has been called on to help in Operation Queensland Flood Assist. Soldiers have helped move more than 100 people and shifted tons of food and equipment. This afternoon, a plane laden with food and medical supplies flew to Mackay.
It's always going to be difficult. You know, this is a significant flood event, and that's the beauty of rotary wing helicopters being able to get into some of these isolated communities. I am sure that in the forthcoming days and weeks, it will continue to be a difficult task, and a rotary wing will continue to be an important asset.
The governments of New Zealand and the United States have even offered to help.
At the moment, through our own Australian resources, we can manage these circumstances.
The bill from these floods to individuals and firms and local councils is likely to run into the billions. The federal and state governments have announced extra financial assistance for farmers and small businesses to help with the recovery.
All in all, the Commonwealth Government assistance flowing will be in the order of many hundreds of millions of dollars.
As fast as the waters have risen, they've also fallen now in some parts. On the weekend, Bundaberg residents began cleaning up after the worst floods there in 70 years. Near the famous rum distillery, it's gone from this to this. Derek Roth and his wife Beryl's home was flooded with water up to their chests, and cleaning up is a heart-wrenching task.
Hard to explain. It's just the feelings there all the time that you just got to carry on. That's about all you can say about it.
Only days ago, Emerald, west of Rockhampton, was mostly underwater. The city of about 12,000 people is a mining and farming centre, but now it's focused on cleaning. Opposition leader Tony Abbott was shocked by what he saw today.
You can see here in this street the scale of the devastation that has been suffered by thousands and thousands of people across central and southern Queensland as a result of these epic floods.
House after house, the story is the same.
It must have been here. the watermarks.
Beryl Callaghan is 75 years old.
It is hard, terribly hard. You work a lifetime for it, get these stuff together and you end up with nothing in the end.
The number of houses that have had water in and around the yards still stands in the thousands. People are slowly returning back to their homes. It's a long journey for these people and it's a heartbreaking journey. They've experienced losses and tragedies that most of us can't relate to.
Across Queensland, people are counting the cost. Rockhampton's flood crisis is yet to peak and there is an ominous warning that there might be more rain to come.
Here we are, it's only January, it's really only just the beginnings of our wet season in Queensland, and we've still got a La Nina strongly established, which means that there's plenty of time for more weather systems, but really I think we've got to be very sensitive here that we've got very serious flooding now, and it would take a very major weather system to make a repeat of this or to make anything worse.
John Taylor with that report.